Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Zwift Racing League. We are in the 2022-23 season for round two, and it's race number 2 of round 2. We're out on the Greater London Flat Course for 2 laps. They will be covering the EMEAW West Open Division 1 for the men. The women, we will be covering the EMEAE Central Women's Division 1 with all of those extra equations, essentially is what they look like for signification of what we are covering. It goes to show you that this is the largest Zwift racing league that we have actually ever seen in the history of Zwift racing. We have over 20,000 individuals signed up from the last time I've checked. Pretty awesome to see. We're covering today the top end of the European for the men and the women in this window that we find, Dave, between 11 a.m. Central Time and 2 p.m. Central Time, my time. We tend to find top end athletes. I'm looking at my screen right now before we jump down to the racing. Vicky Whitewall, Barbara Fish, Ariel Verharen, all on the same team who have all qualified for Worlds over the last weekend. So, I mean, talk about it gets pretty high end here.
Yeah, that's having a flashback to World Championship qualifiers there. What a weekend that was, by the way. Congratulations to all those names that you just mentioned. As a matter of fact, a couple of those women came up with some pretty cool nicknames out of the deal too, right? The Swiss Army Knife and the Argentinian Panther. I'm a big fan of that racing. And Nathan, I think we're team time trial specialist with WTRL, aren't we? Is the this format is something that we really cut our teeth together on doing every Thursday. They continue to race on Thursdays. It's one of the best things going. The part of the reason why we're at 20,000 with ZRL is because so many of those WTRL friendships and bonds were made, and those teammates have continued to race with us here. So those are the teams to watch out for today. I think this is one of the more challenging. Challenging, Nathan. I'll throw it back to you with this thought. Okay, climbing up Alpe de Zwift is challenging. Doesn't make for a good team time trial, though. Absolutely not. This course it's not like a saw blade, but it's hard keeping the team together. Okay, that's the challenge here, keeping the team together, going as fast as you can. It's going to require the stronger riders to really take super long, hard pulls to make sure that they're wiped out when the riders who are at the other end of that food chain come and take, pulls when necessary. Don't overdo it. Don't try to be a hero. Nathan, that's hard, though. I love it, though. Good to be back in the team time show, but it's good to see you, and I'm glad to have good internet too.
Yeah, that's always a must if one streaming is the internet, isn't it? So 29.14 kilometers, 8.1 miles is the total on the Greater London Flat. They will take off and hit up this lead-in to the laps over on the addition, actually, early on in the Zwift days when London was launched. It did not have this back end of the downtown sections of London. That was an addition where you do see that little uphill grind that they will be taking on. And then they'll come through that finish arch a couple of times. There'll be some splits that will get out there as well. I believe our first split is going to be at the 6 kilometer marker, I believe. And then the second split, 14, and at the 22 kilometer marker. So that is the course that we are looking at. Not a whole lot of climbing, but there are a couple of bumps, as you were saying, Dave, that can cause a little bit of mayhem in the organization of the riders and whether or not they stay together, especially when you're trying to press the pace on a course like this. And if the speeds get away from you a little bit, the reorganization of that, and just making sure everybody's really on point when it comes to taking their pulls, the timings. This is it really is, though, a time trialer's course. You can really start to nail down without any disruption what your rhythm is amongst your team and your timings. Whereas, of course, like we saw last week in the TTT with the WTRL team time trial, that course, it was on Knickerbocker, complete disruption the entire time. And you had to be calling audibles constantly to figure out how to get the most speed out of the course, I think. I think you have on mute there, Dave, just as a heads up there real quick.
I agree. I enjoy what we're doing more today, to tell you the truth. It's going to be a real test for these teams. Second race now of this season 2 here, and 2 laps as well. It's worth noting that it's going to be these monster circuits that you've got. And you're absolutely right, Nathan. When you say there's no long extended climbs, it's really just being able kind of these jabs that the course throws at you. That's where I'm going to say you find yourself with all of a sudden you're making these critical decisions. I guess we should talk about as well the fact that this is a team time trial. So that makes it one of the more unique days of this season. And as it makes it a really important day as well, I guess is what I'm trying to get to, Nathan, here is that when you have a day where some teams are excellent at team time trialing, that means you really need to make your mark today. And these teams will feel that pressure. Here we go. This is going to be fun. I really can't wait. It's been a little while.
As let's go ahead and jump down in and see if we can find some of our riders out on course in just a second here. I am taking a look here at Team Electric Spirit Co. I wonder if Katie Loker has shown up out here today. So good to see her jumping out there. She is one of those that we really had expected to make a world's team. I did see a little bit of chatter from her over on the socials about what had happened there. I do think she was really, I had a conversation with her actually, and she said she was extremely proud of the effort that she was able to put out to hang on with those monster climbers. But the excitement may have gotten to her a little bit to hang on with those monster climbers and put a little bit too much out early on in the race that might have caused the inability maybe to follow some of the moves that where it didn't end up being a pure sprinter's course necessarily on the Bell Lap over the weekend.
Never would I ever say that we told you so. And I completely get it. We're big Katie Loker fans, no doubt about it. So I have to admit, I got pulled into the excitement. For a second there, they say keep your eye on the prize. That's exactly what they're talking about. Because I don't want to go too much into the Continental qualifiers, but there were a lot of riders that fell into the same trap as Katie Loker. So you should feel not so bad at all, Katie. And also, Nathan, I'll leave you with this one. One of my all-time at the UN, Roosevelt gave a speech, the man in the arena, or in this case, the woman in the arena, right? But the gladiator, there is no criticism because you were the brave one that went for it. And, good for you. That's what racing is all about. And Katie Loker will have fantastic moments in the future. And here's the thing. I said I was going to throw it to you, but Nathan, I'm really going to throw it to you with this. The fact that Katie Loker is out here racing tonight tells me that she's just an all heart person rather than tucking her tail and saying, oh man, that was a drag, that was a really hard race on Saturday, I'm going to take Tuesday off. Nope, here she is. So Katie Loker, you're a gamer, big fan, keep it up.
Let's take a look real quickly on the current standings before we head to the front of the pack and see how Aeonian as well as Team SZ are doing. It does go out in order of the current standings after one race. Aeonian Aces are at the top with a total of 157 points, as you can see here. And then it is going to be SZ Trude with 19 points. Looks like coming across with a total of 8. Oh, excuse me. They don't have the point totals. Those are first across the line, FTS, and finish points from the last race. Then it's going to be Wahoo Cole Grand Prix team with 18, sitting in third. Synergy Heat, 17, sitting in fourth. Toyota Cryo DT, fifth place right now. Wahoo Cole Etoiles del Vilo. And then Team Castelli presented by Elite Women's Team. It's going to be Saxwatts Astro Unicorns in eighth. Electric Spirit Code that we were just looking at, and Roca Corba Collective. That is the order of things as it stands. Dave, I'm looking at each one of these teams. I think this is about as stacked as a field as you could possibly get, to be honest. I moved through the teams out here, and I mean, I'm not sure if this is the Wahoo Lacole. This is going to be the Wahoo Lacole Etoiles de Vilo that I'm bringing up on screen. There's another Wahoo Cole team, I think, up the road, perhaps, I believe. So, I mean, this is this field. I can't get over how incredibly stacked this field actually is.
Wow, I'm wondering at this point, Wahoo Cole's now a movement of the people. Eiley Gardner is racing today because of the unique, with 20,000. Oh, by the way, shout out to Martin. Man, the job that he does is so incredible. And that's why it came to mind 20,000 plus racers. There's a great article in Zwift Insider about the success and the growth and the surprising growth post COVID era of what's happening with WTRL, who's really the engine that helps run all of the awesome racing on Zwift. So, Nathan, there are, looks to me like almost 20 Wahoo Cole riders out here. So it's going to be 3 teams that Wahoo Cole has in this race. Rachel Brown is racing today. Zoe Langham is racing today. This just shows you Lizzie Brooke is out here. So looks like they've got the A plus team, the A plus plus team, and the Super A squadra for Wahoo Cole.
Yeah,
I
what's
mean, this is just
interesting to
nothing
me
but
is I
talent.
wonder if they move people between the two teams at all in order to even them out at different times, because you can ride for two teams within a ZRL season, and so perhaps some days you've got individuals available that can jump onto the WLC Le Col Etoile. I don't even know. Wahoo Col
I
Etoiles de
thought this.
Vilo. Etoiles de Vilo? Is that right? Am I saying that correct? And then there's a Grand Prix team. They might compete against each other within the race here as well, but I think they also probably trade up a little bit now and then.
Yeah, usually Nathan, I'll jump in with my guess at the pronunciation. I'm letting you hang out there in the wind on that one because I can't do better. Angela Pitzer. I mean, I could read through. I saw you had Coralie Arthur up there. Coralie is a lifestyle, not a human being. I mean, that very, very cool. Everything that she does and her attitude on life is something that I'm trying to import more of into my that positivity radiates. So Lindsay Cassie is out here racing today. So Nathan, Wahoo Cole's done such a tremendous job as I saw our friend, shout out to you, Gabby, healing up our German Brazilian super friend, saying steel or iron sharpens iron must be the saying in Brazil, but steel sharpens steel. I've heard it. Basically, this team has brought together riders that are at such a high level and so many of them that the fact they have to split into these different teams is interesting, Nathan. Very few teams have ever had this luxury. I'll say that about Wahoo Cole.
Yeah, as far as especially you sometimes you see it, but as the level though, when you're splitting a team up with riders like Lizzie Brooke, Lindsay Cassie, Zoe Langham, Illy Gardner, and then you move your way backwards and you can see that you have Coralie Arthur, Rachel Brown. We've got Angela Pitzer, former U.S. national champion, Langham as well here. I mean, there's just so much talent obviously here when it comes to Wahoo Cole. They've got a lot to work with now. Even though lots of talent, I am seeing a gap that's gone out at this point to 127. Aeonian, really the all stars, it seems, of this season so far. I mean, we're only one race in, but unless they've overcooked it a little bit here, they have a full on 28-second gap right now that they have opened up on their
Wow.
chasers. From what I am
Oy, oy, oy.
seeing, that's pretty significant, I think. When I look here, oh, perhaps actually, am I overestimating this? No, I don't think I am. I think that's actually going to be a really solid 27-second gap, actually, back to Brooke and the rest here. So they're going to have to really turn things on for this second lap if they're going to bring that back to the likes of Aeonian, which are riding with Verhaeren, Frisch, Whitelaw, as well as Tori. And Arce is here as well. 2 riders coming out of Argentina.
Yeah, that team, that national team going back to Worlds qualifiers, getting stronger and stronger. Nathan, how much, when you look at what Aeonian has done, they even created their own bobble hats, which was, like they've got merch. Not many teams have merch that's actually world-class merch. Um, so that being said about this team and their leadership, they've done something incredible, building a pyramid of talent with there's so many women involved with the Aeonian that race on the C's and the D's levels, reflecting back on the WTRL conversation about how this racing is for anybody. You can always go to zwift.com/racing to learn more about this. But Nathan, I want to focus on this team right here. 3 of these women just qualified. One of them, Vicky Whitelaw, with a stunner of a performance. She was down in Asia, Oceania, an Australian rider. Huge talent. Well, this team is so diverse. The I'm learning more about rider Isitori out of the United Kingdom. This team is one of the real strengths of this team, Nathan, is the riders are all very, very similar in ability, stature, desire, quality, commitment. These are the big things. And we're looking at now a really, so Nathan, this is really the world you live in. This team isn't perfect because they're going so damn hard right now. I mean, they are blowing. So, yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about the background here. Let's be honest. These women are absolutely killing it. They right now just put 3 riders on the world championship team, and they are putting it to an amazingly strong field here. Let's see if they, I mean, Nathan, nothing's guaranteed. You said checks at 6, 14, and 22. We'll see what we can do. Nothing's guaranteed. I mean, it's not over, but this is a command performance from the ladies here.
I think Ariel is having some connection issues as well. We see her disappear here and there, so she is actually riding blind at times, I think, right now. I
Oh
have seen her
boy.
avatar disappear once, then I saw her avatar go 7 seconds back and then jump very quickly back to where they were. So that wasn't any kind of weird power thing where she dropped off the back. If anybody saw that for a moment earlier, that was her connection going a little wacky. There are down to 5 riders at this point. So one thing I want to really focus on just for a moment here before we go back to a couple of the other teams is Verhaeren definitely has. I said this when she won over the weekend, and the way that I saw her pulling at over 6 watts per kilogram at the beginning of this race shows me again and really puts the stamp on it here that this is a whole new rider that's coming into her Zwift craft and a whole new kind of um yeah, and you see she disappeared though. That was actually so she is having connection problems there. The only reason I would jump away from her there is the game cannot find her. If the game can't find her, she can't even find herself actually when it comes to where she is in relationship to the other riders. So she is riding blind and just making sure that she's in communication with the other riders about how hard they're going. I've had this happen before with bad internet where you just have to continually communicate about where everyone is and make sure that when you come back and your internet fixes up a little bit, that you get right back to wherever you are supposed to be, that you come back where you're like, okay, I'm amongst my riders still. So interesting to see here as this plays out. Now, moving forward, though, it is going to be Synergy that we're going to take a look at. Let's see how they're playing out. They're about 20 seconds back from SC Trude, it looks like, or at least SC Trude is 20 seconds up from them. 180 beats per minute for Leith Weight here from this team Synergy. Synergy, a newer team on the scene that showed up in the past round and had some really good results. Good to see them jumping in. And I think they're currently sitting in the overalls 4th place overall right now, which is a pretty good place to be sitting. I mean, look at this, Dave. I mean, this is no joke for Synergy Heat at 4th place between Wahoo Lacole and Toyota Priority T, both Premier Division Grand Prix level teams, as well as the other Wahoo Lacole team out there. So we'll see how they can play things out here today for Synergy. But I believe they are being caught by Toyota Priority T, who may have a little bit more experience than Synergy at this just high-powered TT efforts.
Yeah, you talk about a team coming out of the woodwork. That would be Synergy. I want to give a shout out to all the ladies on the team, Nathan, as we're going to be hearing more of their names. Britt Poor, Carolyn Chambers, Scottish riders, actually, Carolyn Chambers and Heather Shanks, Imogen Massey. She's from the United Kingdom, as you mentioned, Sarah there, Sarah Luthwaite. So did I say Britt Poor, the American?
Correct.
If I
Yes, you
didn't,
did.
there you go. Yep, there you go. So that was the Synergy team that we're talking about. Heather Shanks here. They're in a straight line, but wrong direct. We want parallel, not vertical. There we go. back into position here. Just tells me the ladies are all giving it.
They
It's
may
kind of
be doing the churn method. You know, we had Aaron Bleakley on the wrap a couple of weeks back, and really interesting conversation about certain ways with Pack Dynamics 4 that may be able to use maybe not just the straight line all the time. My team doesn't necessarily go down this method as of yet, but if you are able to have certain amounts of, you have to make audible calls though often, or you have to really, really be aware of whether or not you're pushing avatars around that are next to you. Because as you watch the Chambers right now, Chambers is kind of fighting for the front at this point, and Chambers is pushing Poor out of the front wheel. And now they're both doing the same watts per kilogram essentially to be on the front, right? And if you continually fight like that, you're just wasting energy. But if riders are super aware of how they're fighting the avatars that are around them, and you allow the churn to take place in a way that doesn't waste energy, you could actually roll through with speed often over and over and over again and slingshot that speed on a pretty consistent basis. Maybe just have one rider out front and then churn around behind that rider, or two riders out front. I've seen teams try to do it. I've been in teams that have tried to do it. It didn't work out real well for me when I was on that team, but I've seen teams make it happen. So, maybe that's what they're up to here, because it does look like a little bit of a churn method taking place.
Yeah, and that discussion will never end, just like with aerodynamics in any sport or in anything. Actually, they're all constantly going to be looking to figure out what's the fastest way, and things change in the game as well. So you're constantly having to update the way things happen out there. You make me laugh though, Nathan, because boy, teams are different. Some teams are out here to win at all costs, and it's like being on a Viking boat with people yelling at each other, and the intensity, and that can be like a newsroom or
It is like a
sports
Viking boat. That's a
production
great
booth.
way to put it. If you're in a TCT with me, it is like a Viking boat. And
it's like being on a Viking boat.
If everyone's doing their 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and you're yelling for the oars to get pulled, hush, and hush, and hush, and then if anybody gets off cue, there's a freaking sword in your face. Like, what are you doing? That definitely takes place in some TTT teams, and everybody's on board with it. You know that we need to get to where we need to get, but sometimes you have somebody show up who isn't on board with it, that doesn't understand, and feelings can get hurt pretty quickly. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to this team ever again. But yeah,
you got to find the right team. There's no doubt, Nate. That's exactly my point. And hey, I get it. There's some teams racing out here, like especially in our C's and our D's, that are all about finishing together and morale and comradeship, right? And I love that. So, hey, you don't have to do it Nathan's way. You don't have to do it the other way. You do it your way, baby. And Eiley Gardner here. Eiley Gardner has been a fantastic talent in the ZRL. I'm a big fan. This team is just nothing but heavy hitters, as we're back with Wahoo Lacole right now. So, Nathan, is this second on course? I know there's so much data flying around.
So they're second on course right now, and we are waiting for some updates on splits. Our split boards are struggling a little bit, everybody, so we will get those as quickly as we possibly can. But at the front here, I do think that the struggle with Varharin did slow down the Aeonian. I'm not sure if they overcooked it. My feeling is they had to slow down a little bit for the situation with Ariel's connection. Also because they were down to 5, and if they lost her and Watts, because they lost Watts here just a little bit ago, and if they lost both of those, they'd only have 3, and you have to finish with 4. So I think they may have had to mess around a bit. Now that they're down to 4, though, there may have been a reality here that they have overcooked it a tad. We'll see, because this was out to 28 seconds. And look at Langham on the front here. WLC, they are known for their tactics. They are known for their de-essing. They are known as being one of the best coached teams in the world by far. And this might just be really good timing, because they might just be going for negative splits and chasing down Aeonian. They got to close 15 seconds. I would bet on them actually doing it at this point.
Nathan, the thing, wow, this is going to be incredibly exciting. I have a question for you, a technical question. So the women outside of Ariel Verhaeren, the 2012 Olympian, she's just a legend. She can't see them, but they can see her.
No, she looks like she is
No,
actually reconnected at this point. So what you
now,
saw
but when they're having
earlier,
the
yeah, when they're having the problem, nobody can see her, and she can't see them. She rides alone in her. So the way it works in a technical way, the moment that you lose connection, your game still works locally. So you still have the world, you still have your avatar, just all other avatars disappear. You disappear to them from the network, and they disappear from you, but you still have the game and the road in front of you. And then when you reconnect, as long as you're not disconnected for long enough that it just says you're not a part of the game any longer, it's not looking for you any longer. When you reconnect, you just end up on the road wherever you kept pedaling to. Does that make sense? And if you're
yes,
with your
100%.
people, you're with your people. If you're at a different spot in the road, you're not with them. And that's what looked like what was happening.
Thank you, sir. Hey, look how close they are to the finish now, Nathan. They've got it's a challenging run in to the line here, but this is the Aodian team we're looking at. Nathan, are you gonna? There you go. So just finishing lap number 1, now heading out on lap 2. I believe is this the new Z Sun jersey?
Norns, actually. This is going to be the No
Sorry.
Gods, No Masters kit, actually, it looks like. And CP Norns, it looks like. We did jump around there because it looks like Ariel may have another internet issue. I'm glad she didn't have that over the weekend, actually. That would have been absolutely horrible after what an amazing effort that we saw her take on Rulma Pool. But this is actually going to be Norns. And remember this team with Strasser? This is a well-known WTRL TTT team. Strasser, definitely a name that is very recognizable amongst TTTs and this No Gods, No Masters team. Good to see the German rider here at 170 beats per minute. They're chasing down currently the other WLC team that's got Battersby, Brandfoot, Fairweather. Perry is out there as well. I think Perry already raced once today, actually, earlier this morning. Good to see her back out here again. They're going to be starting their second lap right now, as they were one of the last teams to start.
Second team time trial of the day. That's very impressive. I do want to circle back. Strasser is a rider to watch, no doubt about it. Powerhouse squad here. Definitely a team for the future. They've got a ways to go out here. We're in London World 2012 Olympics. A lot of great memories of that games as we are we really have everybody out on the last lap with top teams finishing now, points based league. And this will be, I don't know, we'll see too much changing or not in the top of the leaderboard. We've got a long way to go. So we're really just sort of setting our standards out here. But this is, Nathan, I really want to say, the most competitive group I believe that you find anywhere of the 20,000 racers that we've got. When you look at the quality of these fields, we're going to have showdown after showdown out here throughout this season. This is, let's see now. Yeah, heading out again, teams that are just finishing lap number 1, starting lap 2.
Yeah, this is SPSD. It looks like a all Belgian team. Let me see if I can find this team.
Wait, what?
Sports Solid, actually. Yeah, all Belgian team, it looks like. Except for Eleanor Weisman is also riding for them. I didn't know that she's not Belgian, though. I thought she was an American. I thought she was out of the USA, but she's got a Belgian flag next to her, actually. So my mistake, definitely coming from there. It's just that she rides for Cyrus No Pin, so that's why an American-based team. But she's jumping in with the SBSD team. It looks like today. That's gonna be Eleanor Weisner, Amelia Van Hove, Bonnie Delanote, Linda Adams, and Lisa Weiner out there as well. I do recognize a few of these, especially Bonnie. I did see her. Did she qualify this week? And she was at least racing, I believe, in the qualifiers. And looking through here, they're having a good time. They're chasing down the Norns. The Norns have lost 7 seconds to them so far. We're going to keep moving our way backwards. Here's the Rockets. It's going to be Anna coming from KRT, Sarah, Christine, and Deborah. Long time. Great to see the KISS Racing Team Rockets show up today and throw down. One more team, Dave. This is another team that always has shown up many time and again. I race like a girl, and talk about having one of the best presences in the world of social medias. This is going to be Smith Jewett Carly Johan is out here, Ligler, as well as Amanda Wendorf. So solid triathlete focused team for sure. But they should have a good TTT, I would think, out here today.
This is a team that's really become a movement as well. When you talk about I race like a girl, uh, the whole squad are role models out here. And as I take a look, there's a lot of speed being carried through this sector now, Nathan. I know this is a course that you love racing on. This is where keeping the team together is the challenge. You can see these little gaps. It's just really honing in on the efficiency right now that you're looking for, because there's no doubt they've got the engines. Amanda Wendorf, Carly Johan, monster alert, absolute monster alert. Heather Glenn, Kate Ligler, and Tamara. The only Canadian on the team, Tamara Jewett. So Nathan, again, really quickly, I had someone just asking. Fourth rider is where we take the time. We have a bunch of different, at WTRL. There's times there'll be 8 riders starting, and then it's different. But it's always important to know exactly how the rules of the game work. So if the teams go under 4 riders, they have a real problem out there.
Yeah, 100%. Looking here, this is going to be the final Ks. If they do go under 4 riders, they will not get their time until their 4th rider gets across the line. So then they're just
Exactly.
waiting around for it. Here we go. This is the finish here. Frisch, Verhaeren, Whitelaw, Arce, all coming to the line. The last splits that we saw gave Wahoo Lacole a better split at 28-25, 29-07 for Aeonian. So it'll be interesting to see how this ends up playing out. We're going to move our way back to Toyota Priority T so we do not lose the entirety of the race, because once they do cross the finish line, we exit the event. And so we need to stay in the event, make sure we keep these splits up on board. But that's the current situation. I think Wahoo Lacole have done it, the Grand Prix team. We did see them closing the splits down on the Aeonian Aces, but we'll wait and see how this ends up playing out. I am getting some messages through as well as how things are playing for this. But here we go, though. This is the situation.
Oh, wow.
Look, interesting SC
Let me
Trud
jump on
here.
it then.
Yeah, go
Yep.
ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, sure. I didn't want to step on you there. Sorry, Nathan. But Wahoo Lacole looks like they've got a ripper going at 2030. I'm having a little trouble, but it looks like a 24-25. Is that correct?
28-25.
And
28-25. I can
28-25.
we can
Let
bring
me
this up.
refresh my screen here. I apologize. It's probably better for me to let you do that, Nathan.
I'll give you see if I can give you a little bit better looking, a little bit better. Does that look a little bit better there, Dave? We'll see
It does. Thank you,
if that
sir.
came through better for you.
That did. Thanks a lot. 28-25. So
I
that's
wasn't
going
sure
to.
how the Belgian internet was going, so I was giving just like for everybody who's listening, I was giving Dave 800 kilobytes per second versus 4,000 kilobytes per second. I was like, all right, we'll give him some 1080 and see how it works out. So now he's got 1080p to work with and can
That's
read
on
the
me.
screen. No,
That's
no.
because I had so much trouble in Holland during our continental qualifiers. I really apologize. That was one of now I get it. And Nathan, you can imagine I felt like the race. Well, maybe not quite as much because I'm not racing, but I can relate better to what that
To
feeling is like
Ariel,
to have
what's
an
Ariel's going with?
exactly. I was going to say that. Exactly. All right, let me jump on the action here. This is just such a great team. Cryo. We've got that fast time from Wahoo Lacole. Aeonian obviously dealing with some technical issues out there, and they're paying a price for that, no doubt. But Toyota Cryo, one of the world's greatest teams, and they are crushing it. I'm waiting to see, Nathan, what kind of a ride they can put together. They never disappoint. They really don't. I'm sure we'll have a chance to look at Socks for Watts out here today as well. Another team that's done their time. They have a couple squads, but have really done their time racing in the WTRL team time trials on Thursday. So these times are coming in. It shows you again with the starting intervals between these teams and the relatively short laps. It's 2 laps today here in London. This team always comes in with the burden of being a favorite on their shoulders.
Yeah,
Talking about
they're
Toyota
actually
Crowd.
absolutely flying. I'm really impressed by this. Look at this, 29:02 right now, ahead of the Aeonian Aces actually with where they were starting. So this is going to give them some solid points toward moving up the standings. If I look at the standings quick here, it'll give me an idea Actually, Toyota Crowdy T came in at 16th place right now. Right. So, I mean, if we think about that, Dave, and what that means to this, if they
Huh.
do hold on to a second place today, that would be a pretty big jump up to where they were.
Yeah, Nathan, I'm looking at names like Lucy Harris and Joe Munden. These are monsters. I mean, that's no surprise to hear that they're second on a day like today. They're right in the mix with the Aeonians and the Wahoo Goals week after week. It's the other riders that are really stepping up on this team here. And with the way that registration works, it's a little challenging. So I'm wondering, Nathan, who the other, all of the other riders are out there with that squad. We're jumping around. Team time trials are really a beast to broadcast for sure. Nathan's so amazing in the pre-broadcast. Where I'm giving him all of my issues of the day from Belgium travel. He's hammering out 16 different things going on. But so we're looking at riders actually who've finished. Now we'll get back out on course. I have so much respect for what the producing that Nathan does, and right now he's producing away, trying to get back with the team
Look at this.
out
All right,
there.
I guess we'll just hang out and
Well,
talk
this is
about
where Dave's
the
lemonade
uh,
stand is
the
set up.
lemonade stand.
Uh,
Yeah, because that's exactly what's going on here. It's time for the lemonade stand because we didn't anticipate quick enough right there to make sure that we do not leave. So I'll jump back in. I'll try and find the Roca Corba team out here real quickly. But as we do, maybe talk about how much lemonade you've sold so far today,
well, it's
Dave.
been good. Yeah, it's a great concession, that's for sure. Virtual lemonades. You can pay me with Venmo. Um, and we appreciate every purchase. And then you can think that you're having a really tasty ice cold lemonade made with Spanish lemons. They brag about that here. So not regular lemons, Spanish lemons are better. This is a great job by my friend Nathan because I think he found the Roca Corba team
100%.
and good work, Nathan. There's so many teams that it's actually a good one of the best problems that you could possibly have is when you look at the start lists and the rosters. It's a long list. It's a multi-pager, as we say. And when they talk about table, you want to be on the top of the table, and that's what Ridgeway is trying to do for this team, Roca Corba, that we're talking about. It's a team that was based out of the vision of Ashley Moolman Passio, the reigning, excuse me, not reigning, but the world champion from the previous year before Los Adigist, who's the Dutch champion now, but she's from South Africa, talking about the woman who put this team together, and she's got quite a following. She's a wonderful person, a real leader in the community. And let's see here. We've got Harmeen, Man, Ridgeway, Dythe, Cass, Eggers. Great team. Nice
I
jersey,
wanna
too.
I
I like the
wanna
color.
really quickly jump in, and that's the Roca Cobra Collective. They started 10th, I believe, on the day, or at least they're sitting in 10th right now. On the splits, we'll see when their split actually comes through because I think we're actually getting the measurement around the 22K marker. We're still trying to get some data to come through. Great job to WTRL for pulling some things through for us together at the last second, as I think there was some struggles on some of the back end datas. But real quick, I want to notice this 14 kilometer. It seems to me that that 14-kilometer marker is really where things blew up or didn't for a lot of teams. Look at what happened with SC Trude. SC Trude is one of the top teams by far, and they came through with an 838 and then a 1950 way back on the split there for that 14K and then a 3054. I think SC Trude just struggling today for some reason, but that goes to show you, Dave, also the difference between a TTT team and a points focused team, right? SC tend to just always are where they need to be to grab points. They work really well as a team when it comes to riding amongst the pack, supporting each other. When it came to a pure time trial today, Dave, didn't quite have the same kind of gusto up against these top powerhouses.
You can really tell, Nathan, the teams that have been. I mean, it's funny. There's a old quote from an NBA player here in the United States about practicing, right? And he's laughing or making fun at a press conference about them talking about him missing a practice. He's like, practice? I don't need to practice. Well, nobody can say that in this discipline, team time trialing, because practice is critical. You don't get reps in, time in with your squad. no matter who you are, how good you are, that can even be more counterproductive, Nathan. If you have a higher level of talent than the rest of your team, it becomes really frustrating trying to keep everything going. So you can look at it from every different angle. One thing's for sure, you've got to work together. And okay, great. I haven't used this example, but Nathan, in an orchestra, you can have the world's best clarinet player, the world's best violinist, all the different instruments covered. But if they don't ever play together, would you expect them to be as good as a well practiced orchestra?
You got to hit all the timings, complete synergy. It's got to have the rhythm, the melody all hit on every single timing. And that really is a great analogy, actually, for what the Team TT is like, what it has become like out there. If you don't have that harmony, you create discord between the riders, and you will definitely fall short. That's for sure. For within the team time trial, and that's really where people are winning nowadays. Is gaining as much speed as they possibly can off of the tools and the power that they bring to the table. It isn't just about that. I mean, from what we've seen over and over again within Zwift racing, is how much the discipline has evolved and people have discovered in the game the ways that they can take that power and that talent and use it to grab as much speed as they possibly can with the virtual environment that they encounter. I think that that has been recognized over and over again and just continue to be discovered as there's new metas that continue to pop up as riders and teams and racers and DSs discover what the worlds have to offer to get the most that they can out of the racing. It's really been amazing. Really kicked off by WTRL in the team time trial, really, to get people organized into teams to start talking like that and create these little experimental rooms where they're hammering away and making sure that they're pushing each other, as you had said earlier today, the iron sharpening iron type of situation.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and I'm really happy that we barely talk about COVID anymore, Nathan, and blah blah blah, COVID this, COVID that. But that was one of the great things that happened during COVID was the teams that came together, folks that met virtually through this world of Zwift, and then ended up graduating into the world of racing. What have we got here? That's a really cool shot. That's some solid producing right there. Way to pick that up, Nathan. This is a team that is full gas. It looks like a flock of geese right now, just ripping through the sky as this is Crush Pod, the Norns. Norns having a good day out here. This is a very international team that we're talking about. Good catch here, Nathan, as they're coming in hot to the finish.
Yeah, 28K down on the 29K courser in the last kilometer for the Norns as Strasser takes over at the front. I think she is one of the powerhouses on this team that tends to lead it out. I'm not sure if they have lost time to WLC or have gained time on them. I have to take a look and see if I can figure out the start order there. But WLC, it looks like on the chase, perhaps, as I look back at Fairweather here. Actually, I think the Norns may have caught them. They are absolutely flying ahead as Strasser came on through. Fairweather, Battersby, it's going to be Schroederus, Perry there as well. Brandfoot, they've stayed together, it looks like. I'm not sure if Pitzer was on this team. Maybe she got dropped off. They're being chased down by the SPSD team, the Sports Solid team, as Weissman leads them out. The guest rider coming on over from Saurus, no pins. Carity Rockets behind them, and that'll be the finishing up of the women's racing that we will be covering. We'll take a look at the results shortly. Currently, Wahoo Lacole Grand Prix at the top with a 37.53 is the current situation. As you can see, there it is, Toyota Cryer DT with a 58 seconds back. Wow, I couldn't have been more wrong with my call earlier. The Wahoo Lacole Grand Prix team were not struggling one bit. That is an absolutely screaming time that they came in with. 58 seconds back is going to be Toyota Cryer DT, and then with 101, very close racing between them by 3 seconds. 134 with Wahoo Lacole Toiles, and then it's going to be Electric Spirit. The Chancellor's there in fifth, Dave. I'm going to see if we can get the men's racing up here in just a second. Down through ninth.
Yeah, so you got to say there that Grand Prix team, they are a well-drilled unit for Wahoo Lacole. 4.5 watts per kilo and the efficiency. That's what you call the double dip on this one, 37.53. I almost feel like that time was faster than what I was saying. And things are always in play out here as we hone in on race two's final results for the women. Again, This is Toyota Cryo. They did have a great ride. Look how close it was with the Aeonian Aces. Heart goes out to Ariel, the Swiss Army knife, Verhaaren, as she had some technical issues that obviously were
Look at the
not
update
ideal,
just coming
sub-ideal.
through though, Dave. The down to fifth, we were the solid through there, but now Castelli just coming in. Team Castelli, presented by Elite at a 206, right behind Electric Spirit.
Good for them. You had the Chanticleers there, Electric Spirit Co. And wow, that was yeah, and that's exactly what I was just talking about. Is things are always in play as new data becomes available. Can you imagine what the supercomputer must be like up there in Canada that runs this? Great job, Martin. Crush Pod Norns. That's a solid ride. They're going to build off that, Nathan. 210 was their time, but I have a feeling that this is a stepping stone performance as they had Roca Corba right behind them. That's the Collective A addition to Roca Corba. There, Synergy Heat and Night Sox for watching. Astro, great name. Always sweet to see this creativity from this group. 10th place for Sox for Watts Aero Unicorns. And then the Wahoo Cole Ease in 11th.
There you go. SC Throod, I think, taking 12th. Let's jump right down into the men's racing, everybody, as that is going to be the results. We'll revisit what went down with the women's racing shortly, but we're going to get right down into the reality of No Pins R3R on the front with Zach Harner, Wilson. They're getting out into their second lap so far out on course. We'll get our splits up as quickly as we possibly can, but Harner seems to be smashing this. They're doing 51 kilometers per hour starting their second lap here, Dave. And they've got 28 seconds over Jet right now.
If I was talking to you, we have a moment here as we get, well, actually, we really don't. But Nathan, with your team, what kind of average speed do you look to talk
50.
about on a course this
50 is
challenging?
the minimum. 50, we always just shoot for 50. And if we're under 50, we're trying to get to 50, even if it's on an uphill. We're like, just 50 is the number. And
that's
then
why I hate you.
And then on a downhill, you're like, if you're over 50, it boosts it like kind of boosts your energy. You're like, oh, just keep getting as much over 50 as we can. But 50 is kind of like that, just all because it's over what you can usually actually do. Usually actually end up averaging somewhere between 47 and 49 kilometers per hour, depending on how flat the course is. If we do get 50, it's a huge bonus, but we always shoot for a minimum. The minimum is let's try and hit 50.
It's funny that's almost like the gambler is high, right? Where it's like, oh, I want to be even. Then once you get ahead, you're like, oh, I want to be more ahead.
Exactly.
Right? Same
That's
thing
exactly
out
it.
here.
That is so exactly it. It is the gambler's high. Because you are gambling at those moments with how much energy you actually have in the legs and in your body.
Right.
And then have I gone over? Oh, maybe, I don't know, go back and rest it up. Oh, let's go back to 50 again or plus. What can we see at the front?
It also adds, Nathan, too, you've got the endorphins kicking in. You've already got the adrenaline going, right? So your brain is getting all this massive positive input. That's why people overbuy in the supply line as well. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, it's going so good. It's going to keep going good forever, isn't it? It's like, oh, boy, hang on there, my friend. So that's what racing is all about, is gauging your efforts. And when you feel good out there, I always joke about that's not the time to attack, because guess what? Everybody else feels good too. You know, I mean, it's like you think you're that special. These are world-class athletes. The difference between these super gladiators is less than 1%. 2% maybe at the Grand Prix level right now. But let me throw my action or the attention to the action here. It's not in the back section. It's in the front section, as this is No Pins R3R here. That's a new looking kit, a refresh on the kit, isn't it? I mean, it just looks solid to me. Or else I've been sleeping.
This is their Grand Prix kit. This is their kit that was used in the Premier Division kit, I believe. They kind of differentiated I think between the men and the women. I think we saw the women a lot, perhaps, or I'm not sure. Maybe this is actually something new in the community. This is definitely new. I'm not like it's newer. I have seen it before, but wow, I really like the update on it. That's for sure. I am seeing a couple of ZRL champion helmets here. The other one's using the TTT helmet, Dave. I wonder if that's for aesthetics, if they don't have them, or if they were just thinking that maybe the helmet gave them speed.
You know, so that helmet, thanks for bringing that up, actually, has been awarded to previous ZRL season winners. We didn't do it the first maybe season or two. I was really happy to see that being introduced. But Nathan, you know how we have we turn off you'll know the term better than I, but the bikes all had the same effect as
The
far as
same effect.
drafting
Yeah,
goes,
neutralization
right?
of the bikes.
Neutralization.
Yep.
Does this helmet come in as what it is, or does it have any special? You know, it's as good
Now
as an
that
arrow
has been a
helmet.
question. That has been a conversation. The last update that I got on the helmet was it's strictly aesthetic. And then some people,
Okay.
there was a couple people that were like, no, it actually is like a 0.05, like something like minuscule amount that you get from that helmet or something. I was like, really? Okay. But I believe that it's strictly aesthetic when it comes to the helmets. The only thing is wheels and bikes, from my understanding at this point. I'm probably going to get corrected, or there's probably a rumor out there that the helmet actually still helps
Hmm.
or does help or something along those lines. But
Well, I don't want to
uh,
contribute to that rumor because if you stop and think about it, right, with everything that the engineers, and man, are they rock stars, the men and women who created this game, if you started adding in the helmet as an aerodynamic, that creates so much more for the computers to do. Let's take a look at how the standings are here. This is the team league standings, as this is after one race, and that gives you a great idea of how the points break down as well out here. The same distribution happening today. So to move up, it gets harder and harder just because you can see only 1 point separating No Pins R3R, who look like they're on a good day today, from Jet Racing Team. This is after last week. They're in second. Dirt Wolf Pack. They sit in third right now with Scanalatori, Cereali, Magnetic Days. Team A rolls right off the tongue. 17 points in fourth. Electric Spirit Co. Sling in fifth. The Swedish Swifters, the Balder team. Shout out to Balder in sixth. Herd of Act acing Palominos, and then we've got the Australian Hump Day Ride Cheesecake Crew. How can you not love Cheesecake Crew 2 as well? Sitting in ninth, and then the Early Down Activist Society. That's your top 10 teams
Early
after
Dawn,
week one.
that name is amazing. The Early Dawn Activist Society. That they
That's
are.
cool.
That is one of the best
Um,
names I've ever seen when it comes to racing on Zwift.
yeah,
Because I wouldn't
it'd
be
be a good
surprised if they're
band
related
name.
to the Dirt team, maybe, or maybe they're just like a really tight group of bros who are like, all right, we get up stupid early to do this. We're gonna name ourselves after the fact that we get up at a ridiculous hour in order to race this thing. Or I wouldn't see any other reason for that. I mean, there's a lot
It's
of
my guess.
individuals that identify with how early they get up to do their Zwifting, I believe.
100%, Nathan. If I had to guess, I throw my hat in that ring. Is this one? What have we got going on here now? This is an entire team, flat out perfect or very close. One rider struggling now. I guess there is no perfect, that's for sure. But Jet, living up to their name, Nathan. Well, you know what? It is perfect because that rider has jettisoned the team. I don't think that they're waiting. I think that they said, we're good. We'll take our time off our fourth rider. That's important to remember. So this is no reason to panic. That rider might have taken a big long pull, finished up, and said, "Carry on, boys. I'll see you at Dave's lemonade stand."
I love it that they have a lemonade stand at the end of this course.
I'm
It's so
branding it
good.
now.
Oh man! So looking through here, Husky Crone is reminding me that something I should know if it was during the ZCL stream. But wow, Husky, we're gonna have to get you in, as Zwift devs have confirmed helmets do have an effect on CAD. Husky, I appreciate this, man. You're gonna have to find the link to that stream. Was it Flint? Who is on? I wonder. It
Now
might
you're
have been.
trust but verifying. Right.
Yeah. Oh man. We even have people asking in chat, do you have a source for this? Now we're really getting down
Uh-huh.
to the down to it.
Oh, that's his picture. Yeah, yeah, that's hysterical. Um, Yeah, because that's part of the beauty of Zwift is it's not simple, Nathan. If it was simple, you'd get bored and wander off, right? Like a human tumbleweed. But now with Zwift, it's
Human
always improving.
tumbleweed.
It's
Now you're
always
giving me
improving.
pictures of like someone rolling like all over the place. That's what all of these people are. They're just rolling tumbleweeds essentially. Oh my gosh. Third
I've
place
heard the
currently in
spec.
the series, Dave. This is Dirt right now, WP4 with Pack 4. Doug is taking a solid pull at 5.4 watts per kilogram, 5.5. We actually may be having Dirt on the wrap actually coming up soon. They have really gotten organized, it seems like, over the last couple of years. And be on the watch out for them. Not this week, it sounds like, but in weeks coming, a big intro or re-intro to everything that is Dirt because they are one of the largest dads inside riding trainers, as well as the Mert side moms inside riding trainers, clubs, and race teams, organizations on Zwift. So good to see them out here, always represented. I mean, just to give you an idea, Wolfpack 4. So that's the fourth team that's out here named Wolfpack.
The genus phylum species thing that they're much like the 20,000 racers in ZRL. Is that Christopher Schwenker that's coming on
Actually,
from Dirt?
no. That's a great
Okay.
you would think so, but we've gotten so much interaction from Dirt. There's such a large organization at this point that they have a lot of different administration roles, and so when it comes to race organization and events and the different ways that all the teams are organized, very different section of what Dirt is actually. So Christopher running Z Communique, which is absolutely awesome, and writing articles for Cycling Weekly, etc., and doing the podcast as well. That's
Great
one
guy.
side actually of Dirt. But then there's a whole other side that makes sure that all these dads inside that are riding trainers know who the heck the other dads inside riding trainers are and how do they all connect.
Someone has to manage this, right? I mean, it is incredible. So taking a look at that team now, they're 25K into its 29K, just under 30 kilometers of racing out here, which is 2 laps on this course. This is a very popular course. It's challenging. It falls within all the parameters of humane yet a beast. So that's what we're looking for. And these guys are having a moment right now, trying to keep things together. Time taken off the 4th rider. Start with 6 here in the ZRL. Yeah, this is sub-ideal. It's not a disaster either, but we can fix this, I would say.
174 beats per minute. A little bit of a push off the front from Sam here. They are probably trying to make up some time here as they come into their final few kilometers. They are being caught actually by Team Italy as Pendini comes by. They are flying actually, Team Italy. They caught up on a full minute, it looks like, over the top of the Dirt team and are now looking to catch up also on Jet. Jet are 10 seconds ahead of Team Italy. I would not be surprised if Team Italy actually win the day out here today with the amount of time that they've made up on them. The only thing, though, the question would be for that is how far ahead are No Pins? No Pins, maybe not quite far enough ahead to beat Italy. Italy and No Pins, I think, are going to be the front runners. We'll have to wait and see for the final results, but that is my guess. As Italy still have really well intact too, they can really take some monster pulls at 30 seconds intervals here. When you're down to the wire here, and you've got this many riders intact, Dave, you can go way over limit for shorter periods of time and ramp that speed up versus longer pulls now because you start getting down to those final Ks.
If you have 6 riders, Nate, they're all committed as we do on our screen. And I think Jet had 6 still as well. We can go back to that in a moment if possible. But Nathan, this is a great point because this is almost like, I mean, at any given time in a peloton, it's 6 riders that are setting the pace, basically. And that is really not that different than what you've got here. That constant roll through. These guys are flat out flying. They're down to about 2.3K to go. We're going to have some very quick times, not much more than 35 minutes of racing. Are you kidding me? Mamma mia. And the Italians are going to say goodbye. So this is what the top teams are doing, Nathan. They are like the space shuttle jettisoning fuel booster rockets in the finish. This is exactly how you play your cards if you're going for the fastest possible time. The Italians are all in. Looking good, guys.
And we'll see what they can do with this here. Wrath to the front here. It looks like at 5.5 watts per kilogram. I'm not sure it's going to catch the likes of the boost that I see Jet and the rest doing here. They're doing a great job of staying together over this climb, but in this final climb, I'm just wondering if they need a little bit more. At 5.7 watts per kilogram, I was expecting, there it is, 7 watts per kilogram. I was expecting a little bit more speed on them. You do see dirt behind here, making the chase on. I feel to me for Team Italy at this point, they're maybe prioritizing staying together too much at this point because you're in the last 2 kilometers. There's only going to be 30-second to 1
Agreed.
minute pulls left, and really it's only going to be 4 riders pulling through. So what do you need those extra riders for? Unless they have a monster rider that just can't climb that well but has a huge engine of wattage on the flats, perhaps that could be it with a roll through here that might gain some time, but that is a fine edge of lost versus gain on time.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they're making me I misread the tactics there. They are still together, so they didn't jettison riders. So I was thinking of what would I not want to eat that was Italian food? I guess squid ink pasta, because that's what I'm being forced to eat right now, because they definitely are still together as a team. So they didn't play those cards. It doesn't matter if you finish with 6. This was sort of the theme as well of Conti qualifiers, Nathan, is that it's not always about doing exactly the amount of work. It's too much. There's too little. And you have to figure that out for the moment as we go back and look at another team now into the final 800 kilometers of racing.
And Team Italy still sticking together a little bit here, it looks like, as though Wrath takes a pull at the front. Now here comes... Who is the super long name here? Watching Cal Cagni for Invictus Games Foundation. Tricycle SST.
Oh.
Cool to see.
Invictus.
Games. Invictus is...
That's the...
What's that for you? Familiar to you?
Yeah, so it's a game for, I'm not sure if it's Commonwealth. No, I believe it is actually open to athletes from around the world, but that's not really the point. It's injured warriors. I know that Prince Harry had supported that movement, and it's along the lines of what the Special Olympics would be for people with ID or intellectual disabilities. This is a gathering of that group, and they have all different kinds of athletic events. It's the Olympics for injured veterans.
Ah, gotcha. Understood.
Does that make sense?
No,
I feel horrible about describing that poorly.
No, that completely
Okay.
makes sense. That made sense 100% to me. Electric Spirit Co. now making their way around.
That makes sense.
For a few, now making their way into their final kilometer. We do see the results coming in. No Pins R3R have beat out Jet Racing. Now the question is, how did Team Italy perform as we wait for those results to come on through? There they are. Oof. It was there, Dave. They took down Jet. I wasn't sure they were going to be able to get the best of No Pins, and they were not. 13 seconds back, but No Pins R3R with a really, really solid ride, averaging. Look at the difference in watts per kilogram, though, Dave, on average, 4.73 versus 4.83. As you can see, No Pins R3R maybe the better, well-oiled team. We saw that Team Italy maybe a little bit disorganized when it came to the ability. When you focus on a bunched up churn, making sure people are staying on. Sometimes when you make sure too many people stay on, sometimes things can get a little bit more messy, whereas I think No Pins R3R, they let people go as they needed to, kept that straight line, and just keep things a little bit more organized, as you do see the lower watt per kilogram on average.
One thing I love about data and facts are, kind of what you just said, Nathan. It's a fact. No Pins R3R were more efficient out there. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But if you make less power and finish the course in a lower time, you had to have been more efficient as a team.
When we lose, we still pride ourselves from OMG. Well, at least we were more efficient than everybody else. Because we have a lower watt per kilogram than some of these monsters out there. We took 5th overall in the world last week. Humble brag out there. But then there was the reality of seeing what No Pins R3R's elite team did in their watts, and it was just like, oh my gosh. Well, we're just happy to be within 40 seconds of those guys because they all averaged like almost 6 watts per kilogram. So thanks, guys.
If you think back, Nathan, through all time, that's really for us together, I think it's about 3 years. PO Auto at their peak. Remember how great they were? I mean, it was just poetry in motion. I've never seen a team since do quite what they did. Does that stand out to you that same way? There's a few I know.
Yeah, oh yeah, PO Auto. There's also the Dutch team, the team out of the
Oh
Netherlands
yeah,
that stands out as
yeah.
well. I'm trying to remember the name
V-
specifically.
Volendam.
Volendam,
Is it-
thank you. Yep, Volendam,
Mhm.
100%. Yep.
So we got about 1.4K remaining for TJ here on the herd team as we're bringing the guys home. It's been team time trial day here in the ZRL, powered by WTRL.
Now I heard that
And
power ups may have been turned on for this race if you were to be using a non TT bike because you can't use it.
huh,
TTs never get power ups, but you could take the risk or take the tactical, you know, move to be a rider on a non TT bike and then get power ups and use them throughout somehow to benefit your team. At least I'm not sure if that was what the aim was with that, but I kind of like it. That if one rider
yeah,
wants to just hang on, not be as fast as the other riders, but at certain moments grab a power up and use them, or a couple of riders even do that, and like 2 or 3 riders are rolling through, and then the other riders maybe are hanging on, and if they're able to draft or hang on, and then use those power ups at specific times. I wonder if that was the aim with that situation.
again, the layers to this that are fascinating. That's another tremendous example. The time trial bikes not being able to be draftable was a big thing for a long time. Well, let's go ahead now. They don't have just a couple 100 meters to go, so we're going to bring the herd team home. Fastest time right now belongs to No Pins R3R with the Scanalatori Cereali Magnetic Boys. Second quickest, SZ Balder. Third fastest. Let's see how this one stacks up at 37:25. Put him right there with Dirt Wolfpack.
Go back to HDR as they finish things up. I'm going to change up the boards we look at here for just a moment as we do have the splits here. I'm just going to fix a little bit of something here quick, do a little bit of things, make sure things look a little bit nicer. But the board that we have here with the splits, as you can see, it'll give us a better idea of where things stood early on and then give us an idea of how they ended up playing out in front of us here. No Pins R3R with the times at 26:29, 26:54. Then you can see Scantalori came through at that 27. They really turned it on. They ended up in. Oh, are SC Balder finished? Yeah, they are. We'll have to wait and see where SC Balder finished up because they came in just behind Scantalori. That must have been so close because you can see in the splits there, at 26:54, Scantalori were actually behind by 6 seconds at the 22 kilometer mark. Then when they finished up at the 29 mark, they came ahead of SC Balder. So they had a really good negative split, actually. Electric Spirit Co. at a 27:43. We're battling out with Dirt Wolfpack. We still have Jura Sports Alpacas, herd of Acene Palominos out there, Pain Cave Heroes, HDR Cheesecake 2 and 1, as well as Valhalla. There they are. The splits are starting to come in, and the battle between the Cheesecakes and Electric Spirit Co. is heating up. And good to see Cheesecake. They are actually getting a really good time, it looks like, here for this week because they were way down on the leaderboard. They were in, from what I can see here, that Cheesecake Crew 2 and 1. 1 was in 8th place and have moved themselves up as far as the splits go to 5th place ahead of a couple of the top teams. So good to see them moving on up from 8th to bettering Electric Spirico, who was in 5th place coming in.
Not hard to get me to support cheesecake-based teams, that's for sure. Good job out there, guys.
What
So,
flavor?
all right.
What flavor? You know, like that's my
Whatever
question.
flavor is.
Oh,
Yeah,
come
I've,
on. There's
I've
got to be a flavor. Oh, see now if you said
raspberry.
like pumpkin spice or something, I'd be like, go home.
Yeah.
Get out of here. I don't need no pumpkin spice freaking cheesecake. I don't need pumpkin
It
spice
looks like
anything.
no. I'm with you. I saw that even our friend Ashton Lambie has called it an end to the pumpkin spice season.
Really?
So, yep, he
No.
did
And I know
officially.
that he is a pumpkin spice guy. Like, I
Yep,
mean, he
yep.
made a specific post about how much he loves the pumpkin spice. So Yeah, it's
He called
over.
it he called it a season.
See, it's
Yeah.
over for me before it even starts. But
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. So some teams finishing with 6 riders, Nathan, which is quite a challenge on a course. Keeping the team together is part of the, if you look at the cliff notes of racing out on Greater London Flat, that is one of the big challenges. And this is another team. Actually, it looks like they've got 5 together, bringing it on home here.
yeah, solid race here. I believe this is gonna be Jura Sports. Good to see
It is
Jura
Jura.
Sports.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
loving I'm liking this team. One of our newer teams, I think, to the Zwift Racing League. And they really, it's good to see these teams compete amongst the top level. I mean, when you see the top level of this category here with No Pins R3R, they've been so experienced. I mean, Zach Harner, he has raced amongst the Premier Division levels and been racing against top athletes. I put him in with some of the old G names for the longest time, leading out that No Pins R3R team. And then you jump in with the Jura Sports going, whoa, we're in the deep end here, but they're still being competitive. It's great to see that, and that they show up on the day and throw down amongst this crew.
All right. About 600 meters to go right now. Rain really started coming down. That's one
It's been
thing.
pouring. It's been
Yeah,
absolutely pouring in London
really has
today.
just been cats and dogs, as they say. So that doesn't affect your speed. I
No.
would not think.
No,
It
it
would,
better not,
yeah,
because if it started raining and
better
then
not. Yeah.
and then it's like it would be like that'd be a little bit too much like in real life.
No, I got the wrong
It just
helmet.
starts
It's raining.
raining.
Exactly. That's when people are like, they quit Zwift and go outside because of the conditions are bad on Zwift, right? That's not the goal.
That would be hilarious if it actually did, and they were like, "Forget this, it's raining in
That's
Zwift. I
funny.
gotta get outside
I'm going outside
because it's messing with my
if it's going
race."
to be crappy. Yeah. I love riding in the rain on
Oh my
Zwift,
gosh.
actually. I feel like I'm getting away with something, to tell you the truth. Double getting away with something. All right, this is Gonzalez in the PCH. That's not Pacific Coast Highway. It can't be. So I'm going to figure out what PCH is here as they are on the gas. This is what a team looks like when everyone is just at their limit coming on home. There's the finish gantry. This one is done and dusted.
And some fire socks to go with it that I just
Saw.
Great to see. Love the fire socks. What's going on with TV here? Oh, did they start? Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh,
there it
maybe an
is. There's
invisible.
their man.
Well,
There's their
just
last
there.
man.
Yep.
Manu's right there. Good on man from France. He's gonna finish it up for them. He's on that felt. These TT bikes, man, they look like these alien spaceships. Like they are. Some
Yikes. Yeah.
interesting models that they have out here. But
It's hard to believe
Manu?
that operates as a bike when you look at it.
I don't ride them, but some people go
You know what?
really,
I'm not a
really fast on
triathlete.
them.
I feel
Some
bad.
people go really
Yeah,
fast on them, Dave. So I would not.
They do.
be-
They do. I get it. It's funny how when you look at what UCI regulations are on a time trial bike, it really does have some major limits. And when they free them up to do whatever they want, like an Ironman, the bikes look bananas, but boy, they are fast. Okay, let's get to the data. Enough opinions, Dave. Here's the facts. 35.27 was your winning time, Nathan. 4.73 was the watts per kilo average for No Pins R3R. We talked about that a few minutes ago about how efficient they were. Scannalatori, Seriali were the power wattage monsters of the day. And that's not a huge difference. It's close on all counts, but they'll take second. And the points that go along with that, Swedish Swifters, the Balder team had a strong ride. That's impressive. And Nathan, you noted, and I agree, that they certainly are great at this discipline. Jet Racing Team, 4th place today. AHDR Cheesecake Crew 2. In 5th, Electric Spirit 6th. AHDR Cheesecake Crew 1. In 7th, Dirt Wolfpack is 8th today. Early Dawn Activist Society gets the name of the season from me. And I think Nathan's, if he's not there, he's close. In 9th. Herd of
Acing. Yeah, acing.
Acing Palominos. I don't know what that means.
Swapped up.
So,
Valhalla just came through.
hey,
Sorry about that. They just
update.
came through, the OTV. So they took 10th, actually. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Oh, it was within
no, sorry
a second,
there.
Dave, too. It was like within a second.
Oh my gosh. So let's see. Did that change? No, I'm good here through early dawn activist Saturday night. Valhalla Nyal in 10th. Heard of Acing Palominos. They slide a little bit Pain Caves Heroes, like Jukebox Heroes, but even better, 12th. Keep it up, guys. Great racing today.
Let's go ahead and head on over to the league results, but that's going to be for the women, as we weren't able to look at that prior to jumping into the men's racing. But for the women, after two races, the Aeonian Aces are tied at the top with Wahoo Lacole Grand Prix team. But I think Wahoo Lacole Grand Prix would be the other way around because they won the last race. So maybe that just needs a little update there. But I have a feeling that that's how that would actually play out there.
Still close.
Very close. As we can see, is this all updated? I'm just going to update this one more time because I feel like those numbers are not high enough for some of the other teams. But maybe it is. All right. Toyota Coyote T, 35. Wahoo Lacole Etoiles de Vilo in for fourth place right now. Team Castelli presented by Elite Women, 28 points. It looks like Spirit Co. Chanticleer, sixth place right now. Synergy Heat, SC Trude, and CCY Race Like a Girl, Sox Watts, Astro Unicorns. I'm gonna hold off on calling this official. I have a feeling
It's okay.
some of the background might be. We are struggling a lot with data today as well, everybody. And no, I don't think a whole lot of that is any fault to WTRL. So they are working hard to try and make sure everything's coming through as correctly as possible. But
It's okay. People struggling. You'll get it together. It's
yeah.
The thing that I love is that Martin doesn't sleep until he gets it right. He works so hard, and I think this is the men that we're looking at, and no pins are through. They go back to back, Nathan, taking 40 points here, and they'll hold on to the top spot. Scalatori Seriality, second fastest, or excuse me, change my verbiage here. Second on the table, tied with Jet Racing Team. So that takes you to second and third. The Swedish Swifters in fourth, Electric Spirit in fifth, Dirt Wolfpack four, sixth. HDR, so the Cheesecake twos on top of the Cheesecake ones. That'll be fun to watch. They Herd in ninth, and Early Dawn Activist Society rounding out our top 10. Still a lot of racing ahead of us after 2 weeks.
There it is, everybody. So that is going to be our coverage for today for the TTT. We will be back here on Zwift Community Live for the wrap. I got a special guest taking Anna's spot. That will be Carissa Min. And yeah, it's going to be good to have Carissa on board. We'll talk a lot about what happened this past weekend. Continental Qualifiers is going to be the main focus, as that was absolutely a monumental moment within the world of Zwift racing. I think within cycling, Dave, I made a Instagram story post yesterday that really I thought a lot about it actually after I went and grabbed my coffee and I was really tired and I was absolutely done after the weekend. I think I slept until almost noon after being up for practically 70, well, maybe not 72 hours straight, but like probably over 48 hours straight with little naps here and there. And the sat there drinking it going, why am I so tired? And then I realized that for the first time in the history of cycling, something that I'd been really looking for in my cycling career was, how do I race in a way that can get me to where I want to go in this? How can I race in a way, and how can without it destroying like everything else in my life? Right? Like, it's like, how can I take on this sport in a way to get the right, and then if I have the talent, great, and it gets discovered, right? And if I don't, fine. You know what I mean? But I felt like cycling for the longest time has really struggled with that, to find a pathway that makes a lot of sense to make it in the sport, where it's just like, if you got the talent, it gets discovered. And I really feel like this is a whole new level of talent discovery where it isn't quite, I mean, the Zwift Academy, it does an amazing job, but it doesn't necessarily throw a bunch of people into an arena and watch it play out right in front of your eyes to get to that top level in a repeatable way. And I really think that we have this awesome repeatable way of seeing, like, boom, 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 over and over and over again, discovery. And on top of that, you have the live racing that's super exciting. I thought this weekend was absolutely awesome. So I don't know why I swapped over that. Oh, because obviously the wrap on Thursday. So maybe I should leave that for the podcast. But
Well, I thought you did an awesome job. That's for sure.
So
Uh,
tomorrow, you're actually doing some work with Zwift Academy, though. Is that right? Is that
yeah,
happening?
yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be quick. We're doing live commentary of one race. Hannah Walker, old friend and colleague, will be jumping in. She and Matt Stevens are down there. The whole crew, James Lalonde and Eric Min, and all our friends are hanging out down there. And I'm sure that there's a lot of energy around the big race tomorrow. So, yeah, that's going to be another one of the things I just love that Zwift is all about, whether it's Tour de France Femme avec Zwift or Paris Roubaix Femme. These are significant game changing landmark things. And 100% agree with you, Nathan. The fact that we now have a chance to go to the eSport UCI. The UCI world. This is not some rinky-dink world championship. This is the real deal. And anybody around the globe who makes the commitment to getting the right trainer and following all the procedures, because it's no joke. These athletes are scrutinized. Isn't that a great word? Scrutiny, scrutinized, right? I don't think we do it enough sometimes. And this is heavy duty what they go through to be there. So they really want it, they earn it, and it's sweeter than anything when they get it. So those spots were awesome. We had a bunch of racers today, Nathan, that were racing on Saturday, maybe some on Sunday as well, but certainly on Saturday. I'm looking at you, Aeonian. That was really fun.
Yeah, 100% as well as WLC. Well represented there. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out for the broadcast for the Zwift Racing League. I know that our coverage has been a little bit less, but that is on purpose in order to bring the quality up as well as point you over toward twitch.tv and the Zwift category over there for those that are streaming their Zwift Racing League. If you find a high quality stream or a stream just to somebody that you like their personality, want to follow along, they're around your category, they're doing a race that's similar to your race, you can see how a C, D, B category, A category, whatever it might be, is throwing down their race live in front of you. That's a great way to check it out. We definitely here at Zwift Community Live are all about supporting our Twitch streaming community. So head on over to twitch.tv, search up Zwift, and you will find the directory of everybody who's streaming Zwift. It's sometimes 50 to 100 streams actually over there on the really busy days. And as we head into the winters, people will be heading indoors a lot more, and there's going to be a lot more streams popping up, I feel. I'll be streaming my race tonight as well for the Zwift Racing League out of the Americas West, and maybe be able to see, hopefully, not too much hair pulling when it comes to how we play out in the TTT. It'll be a lot of fun. But again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button, follow, comment, like. It helps out the channel a ton. We'll see you out on Zwift real soon. And as always, from me and Dave Towle, right on.